Hey guys, I'm Adrian.
And I'm Jay. We run Fable Forest Films.
Right now, we're totally independent,
But what's the dream?
making crazy awesome film and television for the biggest studios.
This podcast is our journey.
Welcome to episode 75 of First Frames First.
It's 2020, first episode of 2020.
It's the future.
We've arrived.
We have arrived.
Everyone, we started planning to do this podcast yesterday, but now it's today. Why is that?
It's
because
know.
we've spent hours and hours making new intro and outro for the show.
Really didn't understand what you were talking about, but now I get it. It's past midnight, so it is a new day.
It is a new day.
Yeah, because we were just talking about the podcast, and we were talking about the value that it brought to us, and we just decided that, you know, we needed to be clear as to what we were getting out of the podcast and what we wanted out of the podcast, and so we kind of revamped. And we're looking to do it shorter, more concise, more about updates about what we're doing, and maybe a bit less waffling, which is less fun for us, but probably a lot more, a lot better time for you guys.
Maybe not. We'll see. But here's what we're going to do. A little bit shorter. Every episode now, we're going to start off with some updates on what we've been up to for the last 2 weeks. I still love having a guest or two now and again, but let's get back into a couple shorter podcasts anyways for the next few. We're episode 75.
It's a lot of episodes.
We're a couple away from 3 years doing this show. So new intro, new us, new year.
And you know what? The thing is that the intro, what was so interesting tonight was that we were both talking about it actually. The intro has evolved in the same way that we've evolved. Like when we first started the podcast 3 years ago, if you listen to the intro of our last podcast, we're saying stuff like, we don't know what we're doing. We want to drink beer and make movies. Like, these are the things that we were saying at the time. And we changed our podcast with it's almost like a reestablishing what our vision is for ourselves,
Evolution.
What the evolution is for ourselves also. And it's great. So I'm hoping that in the next 3 years we can revamp again, because we've moved and changed and evolved into a higher space. You know what I mean?
Totally. So let's get to it then.
Talk to me.
We want to talk about a couple things, quick updates, and then let's talk about the new podcast project anyways, that we're going to be launching. The new podcast won't run for a while, but let's talk about the project. So quick updates. Where are we? How are you feeling?
I am tense.
Stressed to the max?
To the max. Like, I will say that probably as stressed as I've ever been. And I'm happy that we received a certain email today, which, so there's a number of projects that are going on, some of the big projects. Art of Eight Limbs, the docu-series. Season 2 for Bell 5 TV1 is like in the middle of post-production. And we just...
Whoa. Not in the middle.
Of post-production.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a little closer to the end.
It's not. We have 8 episodes, and I'm doing the rough cut of 2. So we're in the first third.
We're in the first quarter.
Anyway, so we were just, it was just nice. So I've been working my way through that, sent a rough cut through, and was biting my nails, tense, because I just plowed through the rough edit and sent it off.
Yeah. And
I was very nervous because I didn't go through it.
We got an email today, and I called Adrian and I said, "Did you see the email from Bell?"
Son of a bitch.
And he said, "Not good." I said, "Well, you better read it and get back to me."
That was nice. Nice guy.
Yeah.
So I hopped over to the email, and it was a very nice email saying, "Well done, guys. It's looking good."
Yeah.
So that was a huge weight off my shoulders. Not that there's less work, but it's just that we're on the right track.
We got to keep moving, but we're doing well.
Yeah.
So this project, we're behind schedule. We're behind with everything right now.
We're way behind with everything, which is where all the stress comes from. You know what I mean?
It is. It's a burden.
Yeah, there's nothing nothing we can do about it.
It's fun. It is really fun.
It's a really good problem to have.
When people know how much you love doing this stuff, and they're asking you, "How's this project going? Am I going to be able to watch it yet?" Hang on.
Yeah, we just got to wait a little bit because now this is our biggest problem. Is honestly the speed at which we do things.
Yeah,
and we're moving. It's not like we're sitting around doing nothing. Like we're trying to get these projects out the door, but they take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I'm spending all my available time working on these projects, and
yeah. So that's where we are with 8 Limbs. Now here's the thing: shifted update. Right now, 8 Limbs has to get completed. We have to get to the end of the tunnel for 8 Limbs. We were and Shifted is moving along. We were going kind of back and forth with 8 Limbs and Shifted, and so it's not it's not halted.
Mm-hmm.
We had some really very exciting news. I don't know. Do you want to share
Sure.
The email that you got from Taman?
Oh, the voice message?
Is that interesting? Do you want to share it?
Yeah, sure.
You want to grab it?
Oh, just
You want to play it?
play the message?
Yeah. Want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
So, why not?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So we've asked. Well, why don't you tell?
Yeah. So just my stepbrother lives in Spain now, and he is. I would consider him to be musically very gifted. He's been doing music his whole life, and he was involved in Greenhouse. He wrote a lot of the score for Greenhouse. He was involved in Bickerman's Grove. He wrote a bunch of the songs for Bickerman's Grove. And so I just reached out to him for Shifted, because he just randomly sent a song to me, and it was.
I think we were
super duper
on the way home from shooting in Toronto, Art of 8 Limbs, and you were like, "Listen to this song that my brother sent me," and it is very strange.
It was so strange, but it was completely visceral. Like you could feel the music. And we just felt like there was something there was a magic inside the music. And so we were like, let's, he's an X Factor. He's totally an X Factor because it's so interesting what he's doing. And it's so different. It's kind of out there.
Right.
And so we're like, yeah, let's ask him to make some music for the movie.
Now, when you asked him to make the score?
Yeah.
What did you send him?
What was the stuff I sent him? So I sent him the script, and I sent him just 3 completed scenes that I felt would just give him a sense of the unease in tone. Mm-hmm. And I sent him an example of a score that I really liked, which was the score for The Shining.
Okay.
Which is and going through a whole lot of scores, one of the scores that really sent shivers down my spine was The Shining. I was like, whew. Yeah. Excellent.
That's my suggestion. Hello. That's all I do. Make one suggestion.
Yeah. So we sent him the thing, and then he sent back a message.
Adrian, I just sent you a message, but I honestly don't know how to get it across. This is serious. This is serious shit, dude. Really. I'm so fucking amped when just the 3 fucking scenes, dude. It was fucking 3 minutes, and I could really. You've done something really, really awesome here, dude. Seriously. Fuck, dude.
So, he likes those 3 scenes. And those 3 scenes are good.
Yeah.
I'm happy with those 3 scenes for sure. Now, I will say that even, 8 Limbs gives me stress to hear, but completing Shifted gives me stress to hear.
And then you can add my stress on top of that. The thing is
I just want to finish the movie. It's so bad.
but not just finish it. The thing is
Yeah,
that
knock it out the park.
we have private investors. We have lots of fans and friends and family who are so excited to see this movie. We have to not just complete it, but complete it and make sure it's amazing. So
Yeah. So I will say that I was working 8 limbs, and I would do, like, half the day 8 limbs. I'd spend half the day on Shifted. Half the day 8 limbs, half the day on Shifted, and sort of plowing through projects. And I just remember one day I was on the phone with you, and Jason's more aware of the timelines than I am. I just kind of
like not fully, but
I just kind of put one foot in front of the other, do what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And Jay was like, Adrian, you should just work on 8 limbs right now. I was like, because I knew he was right. Anyway, so we're playing ahead with 8 limbs, and like I got to finish Shifted.
Yeah. Now
we got to finish Shifted.
Yes, we do. And so the other thing that we've been working on for probably the past maybe a couple months now, you guys, if you've been following along, we'll get to the podcast thing in a second, but we've had so many website troubles.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So we should say, and I don't know if we've mentioned it, but we've been working with a web developer here in town.
Yeah.
His name's Jim. He works or he owns Echo 9 Creative here in Kitchener-Waterloo. Yeah. And you know what? Great dude.
Yeah. And it's been a really awesome process.
Yeah. For us, like,
I've never been so excited about it.
We've met him multiple times. We sit down, we chat about kind of what we're hoping for, and he tells us that we're idiots and, we got to do it a certain way. And then we tell him, no, do it our way. And he's like, all right, I'll figure out what to do. But
I'll keep looking for the plugin.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think it's possible.
I don't think I can do it, but.
So it's been really great, and we're getting closer. Having that website, is the home. It's the landing page. It's what everybody sees when they think of you, and having the completed thing makes everything we're doing here a little bit more real, substantial.
One of the realizations I had at one stage is when I was looking for someone on the internet, online, and if you come across their website, and their website's just pretty, your website is 100% the representation of you to the rest of the world, like the whole world, except for your immediate circle of people.
Right.
Everybody else in the world is going to judge you based on your website.
Right.
That's it. That's the bottom line. So if you just have to get that right.
So don't go yet, but listen, it's coming together in bits and pieces, and we're getting very close.
Yeah.
So that's it for that. Now, we did a Facebook Live a couple of days ago.
That's right.
And we were very excited to share the news that we were accepted. We're awarded a grant from the Region of Waterloo Arts Fund, which was very cool for us. Yeah. So I think that we did talk about the fact that we applied for it months and months and months ago. Mm-hmm. And then we did a stage 2. I'm sure we shared the pictures of the mountain of paperwork that we had to fill out and complete and send in. And it's kind of been, I knew that they were sending their answer December 20th. So all Christmas and all holidays long, I was kind of, every once in a while when I would check the mail, I was wondering when the letter would come in.
The envelope would arrive.
And so then we got it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to open it. Let's wait until we can get together and do this thing. But it was like the next day or the next day. So it was definitely delayed gratification.
It was awesome. Open the envelope, and it said, congratulations.
Yeah.
We're going to give you some bucks to do this endeavor.
Yeah. So this should be interesting. We have this year to complete the project. Mm-hmm. So what the project is, just so that everybody is aware, and we've talked about this before. We've been interested in trying to create audio drama.
Mm-hmm. It's been something that we've been thinking about a lot, just because Well, you have the ability to tell a story and to transport people on quite an exciting journey just using audio.
Right.
And it's just something that I have been listening to a lot of.
Talk about what you've been listening to all.
Yeah. So I just, at some stage, I climbed onto this podcast called the No Sleep Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I was looking at various fictions, and I wasn't really interested in a long drawn out storyline that would potentially never end. I'm not interested really in a soap opera that'll go and go and go and go and go. I like the fact that it's a single stories told, and then you're using audio to create this landscape. So if you were to wear like a really great set of headphones and close your eyes, the ideal story to me would be one where you really feel like you're there. Mm-hmm. And actually your imagination is creating the video, right? The video that we would normally put on the TV is being created inside your mind.
Right.
And that's awesome.
So what I got into was a podcast called, now I did listen to No Sleep Podcast and I really enjoyed it. Lexington and I started listening to a zombie podcast called We're Alive. Mm-hmm. And there was, 60 episodes or something like that. Or I don't know how many episodes it was. Quite a lot. And what it was a soap opera, right? Mm-hmm. It was kind of like The Walking Dead, but audio. A podcast, basically, right? And you would listen to each episode was each section was 3 episodes long, 15 to 20 minutes each, so about an hour. Mm-hmm. And when you were listening to it, there was a cast of 40 or 50 over the amount of time. But wow. Each podcast would probably have 8 to 9 to 10 people doing their voice acting parts, and they had all the sound effects. So they had helicopter noises and their gunfights and their cars and all the little sound effects, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of fun because you get to know all these characters over quite a bit of time. Yeah. And learn all their backstories and all kinds of cool zombie stuff. Anyways, a lot of fun. And so Lex and I would, because they're 15 minutes at a time, we would drive around and listen. If we were driving all the way to Ottawa, we'd pile a whole bunch up on the phone and listen to a whole ton, right? And so I think that's kind of what got me really thinking about the idea of trying something like this, So we pitched it to the city in that we wanted a grant to launch this podcast, this new podcast. Mm-hmm. And so the idea is you guys right now, for anybody that joins us regularly, we release a podcast every 2 weeks. And this is our journey as filmmakers and creatives. The other podcast will run on the alternative weeks so that there's something new coming out from us every week.
Wow.
Is the idea.
That's pretty serious.
Yeah.
That ain't no joke.
Now, that will probably begin close to the end of this year, because the first thing that we need to do is make this thing. So what we've committed to is 2 hours of
audio drama content.
Right. No matter how many episodes, it doesn't matter. All the stories will be different. I would love to see something scary, something exciting.
Now, but a thought that occurred to me is that the stories don't only need to be different in terms of genre, but they have to allow us, because you can write a short story, where you wouldn't ever need to be in a soundscape, a place where you would use sounds, right?
Right.
So we have to, when the stories are starting to get created by the creators, all the various people who are going to be writing our stories, they're going to need to think about that.
Right.
Because the objective in my opinion, one of our objectives is to take people to a place or in a place.
Right.
So if this short story happens too much inside internal thinking or internal monologue, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What it has to be is a story where we can use sound effects to show people what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. It's not just a story being told with, internal monologue or people talking or whatever.
Yeah. Or like things that wouldn't like. There was a guy and he used to live next to the sun, and the sun used to be
Right.
And I heard a short story like that recently, and it was a great short story. But while I was listening to it, I kept thinking to myself, like, where would I put in the soundscape? Where would I take it to the next level for the listener?
Right.
And in that particular kind of story, I was like, there is no place to put that. So we need to make sure that when we're writing the stories.
So the idea is, just in case you're watching and you're getting excited,
And you want to write a story
that's right.
for the podcast.
Because what we are going to be doing is opening up to the Kitchener-Waterloo region the ability to write a story that we're going to produce for this show. Okay. And so people need to be thinking of writing a movie that you can listen to. Right?
Yes.
It's not going to be narrated content. Maybe
There will
maybe
be.
now and again there's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
narration, but there's going to be voice actors,
Yes.
music,
Yeah.
sound effects.
Now you write, like if you were thinking of doing this, I would say you write the story you want to tell. But the stories we're going to choose will have those elements in them.
Right.
It will have the ability for us to hear the monster, to hear the waves of the ocean. You know what I mean? To be in the car driving as it's speeding along the road, to hear the gunfire, to hear the aliens gurgle.
Right.
These are things that we want to do, and that's why we're creating this podcast.
So stage one is going to be the collection of these stories.
That's right.
And as we get each story and we love a particular one, we'll start to break that story down into the elements that's going to be required to produce this show.
And I do think that once we receive a story, once we like the story and the story's been accepted, we should just read it and record it, just with a mic, see the time, see how long it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially we might have 10 to 15 or 16 episodes. Once we get the voice actors and we've started building the Foley is essentially just all the little bits and pieces of sound effects. We are going to practice, and we're going to actually put together a live event.
In a theater.
Right? So we're going to have seating. So imagine like a stage with the voice actors all seated out, maybe an actual, I don't know how big of an orchestra we could actually get, but some people with instruments to give the ambiance and the music. And we are going to be the sound effects orchestra. So we'll be creaking doors open and walking and shuffling our
Scraping.
doing all the things, making the monster
Gargling.
noises. It's going to be amazing.
Horses.
Right? All that kind of stuff. And people will be able to watch the whole thing unfold. And we're going to record it, probably put it up online. We will put it up online. But then once everything has been, the performances have gone live and super amazing, we've recorded each episode separately, built the intro and all that kind of great stuff. Then we're going to start releasing those once we've built up a pile. And the idea is that the podcast continues after this project is complete, right? So we don't just take the 10 to 15 that we've got and that's it. If we enjoy it and it's something we really feel that we can continue to entertain with, maybe we continue and push on from there. But this is the beginning. And thank you so much to the Regional Waterloo and the Arts Fund for getting us started, because it's something we've talked about probably for about a year, maybe a year.
We have been batting it around for about a year, yeah.
And so it's tough because without the belief and the funding, it's hard to get something moving.
Yeah, I would say that we're at the stage now that any project we want to do is definitely going to cost money.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, thank you very much, because this allows us to give this a go. And this is really interesting, and it's something artistic outside of our comfort zone for sure.
100%. This is something that we're going to have to learn some things. We're going to have to trial and error. Definitely.
Lots of collaboration.
So the thing is if you're listening, you heard our Facebook Live announcement, you thought, I'm going to jump over, I'm going to watch. the guys' podcast for the first time ever, maybe, you got to reach out and on one of our socials or by email or whatever, and let us know how you want to be involved. Right now, step one, we need writers. We need stories. You know what? If you've got a great story,
Fictional.
let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe we end up writing it for you. If you're not a writer.
Mhm.
Maybe not, though, but we'll see.
It's your call.
Now, I will say one of the things is I do want to try to find one or two Kitchener-Waterloo
Specific.
folklore tales
Yeah.
or items from our
Historical.
CD past
Yeah.
that we can build into stories. So that way we can tie some of the Kitchener-Waterloo into
Mhm.
the stories themselves.
Very cool.
So not all, but a couple, and all kinds of genres. We want to really mix it up. You know, you watched what was that anthology? Love,
Yeah.
Death, and Robots.
Yes.
Did you know I was going to say
Amazing.
that?
Yes.
Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
When you said anthology, I was like, that's the last one that I watched.
if you haven't seen Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix,
Go and watch it.
Check it
It's
out.
so cool.
10 episodes, 10
Yeah.
episodes, I don't know. But each one has to
Completely
do
different.
with like technology and robots or whatever.
Sort of
but,
sci-fi.
but everything has a really different look and feel and amazing.
An animation style.
Yeah, and different stories. And that's what we want to do. Sometimes somebody will, like the No Sleep podcast, check it out. It's all different horror stories or scary stories. And we might have one or two of those.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting late, guys.
Yeah, it's like one.
Yeah, it's getting there.
So I will also say that our podcast and our journey is all about us trying to make big, fat movies. That's what we want to make. And that's what we're trying to do. And I hope you guys will tag along and watch us do this. That's our, that's what we want to do.
We keep pushing forward.
Yeah, we keep driving forward, and hopefully one day, if we keep driving, we can we keep growing, because that's what we're going. The growth is incremental,
Mhm.
and it has been, same as my age and your age, which is even higher than my age.
It's true. I am very old.
He's in the 40s.
That's a good point.
You're in your 40s. It's crazy.
Well, that's it for today.
Thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you. Dream big.
Work hard. Bye.
Really hope you enjoyed the show.
Wherever you watched or listened, please leave us a comment or a review. We really want to hear from you.
Share the show with a friend. You know they'll love us.
Head over to our website, thefableforest.com. There's all kinds of great stuff.
Poke around. Check it out.
See you all again in a couple weeks.